My German Shepherd Luna had never growled at me in 7 years. Not once. Not when I accidentally stepped on her tail. Not when I forgot her dinner. Not even during thunderstorms when she was terrified. But that Tuesday morning in March, she planted herself against my bedroom door, teeth bared, blocking my exit like her life depended on keeping me inside. 2 hours later, my boss Derek called me sobbing so hard he could barely speak. Marcus, everyone who came to work is dead. 23 people. They're all just sitting at their desks. My legs went weak. What do you mean dead? How? I asked. His voice dropped to a whisper that still haunts me. They all looked like they were sleeping, but their eyes were completely white. My name is Marcus Rivera. I'm 32 years old, and I work as a software engineer at a tech startup in Denver. The woman who saved my life that day wasn't human. She was my 7-year-old German Shepherd, Luna, and the person who died in my place was my younger sister, Sophia. Before I tell you what happened, hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more true stories that will make you hug your pets a little tighter tonight. And drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from, because this story made headlines across the country. Every morning for the past 4 years, my alarm went off at 5:30 sharp. Luna would already be awake, sitting beside my bed with her tail wagging, ready for our morning routine. Coffee first, then her breakfast, then a quick walk around the neighborhood before I showered and headed to work. It was like clockwork, and Luna thrived on routine just as much as I did. That Tuesday was supposed to be the biggest day of my career. Our startup was launching a revolutionary app that had taken 2 years to develop. My sister Sophia had gotten me the job when I was unemployed and desperate. She worked as the office manager and basically ran the place while our CEO Derek handled investors. Sophia was 28, 2 years younger than me, but she'd always been the responsible one. She bought her first house at 25, while I was still figuring out how to separate whites from colors in the laundry. Don't forget about tomorrow's meeting, Sophia had texted me Monday night. 8 a.m. sharp. Derek's announcing equity packages for everyone. This could be life-changing money, Mark. I'll be there, I'd texted back. Want me to pick you up? No, I'll drive myself. I need to get there early to set up the conference room. But don't you dare be late. I've been talking you up to Derek for months. That's the thing about Sophia. She was always looking out for me, always pushing me to be better. When our dad had his heart attack 3 years ago, she handled everything while I stood frozen in the hospital hallway. When our mom needed help moving to a smaller apartment, Sophia organized the whole thing while I just showed up to lift boxes. But that morning, something was off from the moment I opened my eyes at 4 a.m. Not because of my alarm, but because Luna was pawing at my shoulder, whining in a way I'd never heard before. It wasn't her usual, I need to go outside whine or her I'm hungry whine. This was different, desperate. What's wrong, girl? I asked, sitting up in bed. She immediately ran to the bedroom door, then back to me, then back to the door again. I got up and followed her to the living room, checking the windows for intruders. Nothing. I opened the back door thinking maybe she was sick and needed to go out. She refused to go past the doorway. Instead, she grabbed my pajama sleeve with her teeth and pulled me back inside. Luna, you're freaking me out, I said, kneeling down to check her over. No injuries, no obvious pain, but her whole body was tense, and she kept sniffing the air like she was tracking something. I tried to go back to bed, but Luna wouldn't let me. She jumped on the bed, something she knew was off limits, and positioned herself between me and the door. Every time I tried to move, she'd push me back with her head. At 5:30, when my alarm went off, I figured whatever was bothering her had passed. I stood up to start getting ready. Luna immediately blocked my path, her stance wide and firm. Come on, Luna. I need to get ready for work. She didn't move. I tried to step around her. She sidestepped with me, like we were dancing. Under different circumstances, it would have been funny, but something in her eyes stopped me from laughing. She looked terrified. I went to my closet and pulled out my work clothes. Luna watched every move. The moment I finished getting dressed and reached for my laptop bag, she lost it. A deep, guttural growl rumbled from her chest. Not playful, not warning. This was primal. Luna, I said sharply, what has gotten into you? She positioned herself directly in front of the bedroom door, every muscle in her body rigid, her lips pulled back, showing teeth I'd only seen her use on chew toys. This wasn't my gentle, goofy dog who let toddlers at the park pull her ears. This was a guardian, and she'd decided I wasn't leaving that room. I grabbed my phone to check the time. 6:45. If I didn't leave soon, I'd hit traffic and be late for the most important meeting of my career. Sophia would kill me. Derek would probably fire me. 2 years of 100-hour weeks would be for nothing. "Luna, move," I commanded, using my firm voice. She'd never disobeyed a direct command before. She didn't budge. If anything, she pressed herself harder against the door. My phone rang. Sophia's picture lit up the screen, the one from last Christmas, where she was wearing the ridiculous elf hat our mom made her put on. "Mark, please tell me you're in your car," she said, without even saying hello. "Sophia, something's wrong with Luna. She won't let me leave my room. Are you seriously right now? Your dog ate your homework?" "I'm not joking. She's acting insane. She's growling at me." "Then put her in the bathroom and get your butt to work. Derek specifically asked me if you'd be here. This is important, Marcus. Not just for you, for both of us." I could hear the frustration in her voice. Sophia had put her reputation on the line to get me this job. She'd vouched for me when I had no experience in app development. She'd covered for me when I made mistakes in my first few months. And now, on the day it all paid off, I was calling with the world's lamest excuse. "Give me 10 minutes, I said. "I'll figure something out." "You have 5, she said, and hung up. I looked at Luna. She stared back, unblinking. There was something in her eyes I'd seen only once before, when an aggressive dog at the park had charged at me. Pure protective instinct. I remembered something then, something weird from the night before. When I'd gotten home from work, there had been a strange smell in the hallway of my apartment building, sweet and metallic, like pennies mixed with sugar. I'd thought maybe someone had spilled something, but now Luna kept sniffing the air in that same urgent way. My phone buzzed. A text from Sophia. "I'm driving to your apartment right now. You better be dressed." I heard her car pull up 5 minutes later, that distinctive rattle her old Honda made. She had the money for a new car, but refused to buy one. "Still runs perfect," she'd always say. Why waste money? The moment Sophia's footsteps hit the stairs outside, Luna went ballistic, not just barking, but throwing herself against the door, scratching at the wood like she was trying to dig through it. The sound that came out of Luna's throat when Sophia knocked on my apartment door was unlike anything I'd ever heard from her. It started as a bark, but morphed into something between a howl and a scream. She threw her entire 90-pound body against the door so hard that picture frames rattled on my walls. This wasn't my dog anymore. This was a wild animal fighting for survival. "Marcus, open this door right now." Sophia's voice carried through the wood, sharp with annoyance. "I can hear Luna. Just grab her collar and move her. We don't have time for this drama." She knocked harder, and Luna matched her intensity, clawing at the door so frantically that wood shavings started falling to the floor. I grabbed Luna's collar to pull her back, and she spun around to face me. Her teeth were inches from my hand, foam gathering at the corners of her mouth. But she didn't bite. She held that position, trembling violently, her eyes locked on mine. In that moment, I understood something that chilled me to my core. She wasn't threatening me. She was begging me. "That's it. I'm using my key," Sophia announced. I heard her fumbling with her keychain, the one I'd given her for emergencies. Luna must have heard it too, because she launched herself at the door handle, actually managing to hit the deadbolt with her paw, engaging it right as Sophia tried to turn her key. What the hell? "Mark, did you just lock me out? Are you serious right now?" The hurt in her voice cut deep. She thought I was choosing my dog over her, over my career, over everything she'd done for me. My phone started ringing immediately. I didn't need to look to know it was her. I answered, trying to keep my voice calm, while Luna continued her guard stance at the door. "Sophia, I swear something is really wrong. Luna has never acted like this. Maybe she's sick or rabid or something." There was silence on the other end for a moment, then a heavy sigh. "Marcus, listen to yourself. Your perfectly healthy dog suddenly goes crazy on the exact morning of the most important meeting of your career? You're scared. I get it. This is big money we're talking about, but you can't hide behind your dog. She was wrong, but I understood why she thought that. I'd hidden behind excuses before. When Dad had his heart attack, I told everyone I couldn't handle hospitals because of a childhood trauma that didn't exist. When our grandmother died, I missed the funeral, claiming a work emergency that Sophia knew was fake. She'd covered for me both times, made excuses to the family, protected me from judgment. But this was different. This was real. Look through your peephole, Sophia said, her voice softer now. I'm standing right here. Do I look dangerous to you? It's just me, your annoying little sister who's trying to help you succeed for once in your life. I looked through the peephole. There she was, still in her professional blazer, her dark hair pulled back in the same ponytail she'd worn since high school. She held up her phone and gave a small wave, attempting a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Luna sensed me moving toward the door and positioned herself between me and the handle again. When I reached for it anyway, she did something that broke my heart. She sat down, placed both paws on my chest, and pushed me backward. Then she looked into my eyes and whined, a soft, pleading sound. Her tail wasn't wagging. Her ears were flat against her head. Every inch of her body language screamed danger, but not from her, from something else, something outside. You know what? Fine. Sophia's voice cracked through the door. I've spent 2 years making sure you didn't fail at this job. I've covered for every mistake, every missed deadline, every time you froze up in a presentation. And this is how you repay me? By bailing on the one day I asked you to show up? I heard her footsteps moving away, each one feeling like a nail in the coffin of our relationship. When Derek fires you, don't call me. When you can't make rent, don't call me. I'm done being your safety net, Marcus. The car door slammed. The engine started with that familiar rattle. As her car pulled away, Luna finally relaxed slightly, though she maintained her position at the door. She looked up at me with those brown eyes, and I swear I saw relief mixed with the fear, but the guilt was already eating at me. What had I just done? I stood there for a full minute after Sophia's car disappeared, my hand still on the doorknob, torn between chasing after her and trusting the instinct that had kept me frozen in place. Luna had moved away from the door but stayed close, her eyes tracking my every movement. The way she looked at me wasn't aggressive anymore. It was almost grateful, like I'd passed some kind of test. That's when I made the decision that would haunt me forever and save me at the same time. I chose to trust my dog. I pulled out my phone and called Derek's direct line, expecting him to answer with his usual aggressive energy. The man never missed a call, especially on launch days. He once answered his phone during his own wedding ceremony, which his wife still brought up at every company party. But the phone rang once, twice, 3 times, then went to voicemail. Hey Derek, it's Marcus. I'm having a medical emergency and can't make it to the office. I know the timing is terrible, but I'll dial into the meeting remotely and have my portion of the presentation ready to screen share. I'm really sorry about this. The lie felt bitter on my tongue, but what else could I say? My dog won't let me leave. I'd already burned that bridge with Sophia. I opened my laptop and logged into our company Slack, expecting to see the usual morning chaos of messages, everyone hyping each other up for the launch. But the general channel was quiet. The last message was from Sophia at 7:45 a.m. Conference room is set up. See everyone in 15 minutes for the meeting that changes our lives. No responses, no reactions, nothing. I checked our project channels, our random channel where people shared memes, even the direct messages. Everything went silent after 8 a.m. My stomach started to churn with something beyond anxiety. This wasn't normal. Even if everyone was in a meeting, someone would be on their phone. Our junior developer Tommy literally live-tweeted his entire life. Our designer Rachel never went 5 minutes without posting something on the company Instagram. But all their social media had gone dark at the same time. Luna padded over to where I sat at my desk and rested her head on my lap. Her body was still tense, but she seemed calmer now that I was away from the door. I absently scratched behind her ears while I pulled up our building security portal. As a senior engineer, I had access to the camera feeds for debugging our door sensor integration. I'd never used it for actual surveillance before, but something made me log in and navigate to the live feeds. The parking lot camera showed all the familiar cars, including Sophia's Honda parked in her usual spot near the entrance. Derek's Tesla was in the CEO spot. Everyone had arrived, but the front door camera, which should have shown our receptionist Jake at his desk, showed an empty lobby. Jake never left his desk. The guy had a bladder of steel and once bragged about going 6 hours without a bathroom break. I clicked through more cameras. The kitchen was empty. The ping pong table in the break room sat unused. The open office floor, where 23 people should have been buzzing with nervous energy, was completely still. My hands were shaking now as I grabbed my phone to text Sophia. "Hey, is everything okay there? The office looks empty on the cameras." The message showed delivered but not read. I tried Tommy, Rachel, Jake, all delivered, none read. These people lived on their phones. Tommy once responded to a text while he was in the shower. The silence was impossible unless something was very, very wrong. I stood up to pace, and Luna immediately positioned herself between me and the door again. "It's okay, girl," I said, though I wasn't sure if I was reassuring her or myself. "I'm not going anywhere." She relaxed slightly, but kept watching me. That's when I noticed something else. That sweet metallic smell from last night was stronger now, seeping through the ventilation. Luna noticed it too, her nose twitching as she sniffed the air with increasing agitation. At 9:47 a.m., my phone exploded with incoming calls. All from Derek. 5 calls in rapid succession before I could even swipe to answer. When I finally picked up on the 6th call, the sound that came through the speaker wasn't Derek's usual confident voice. It was a broken, terrified sob that made every hair on my arm stand up. Whatever had happened at that office, whatever Luna had saved me from, I was about to find out exactly what my dog had known all along. "Marcus, don't come here. Whatever you do, do not come here." Derek's voice was raw, broken in a way that made him sound like a completely different person. I could hear sirens in the background, lots of them, and someone shouting orders. "Derek, what's happening? Where's Sophia? Is she okay?" My voice cracked on my sister's name, and Luna pressed closer to my leg, whining softly. "They're all dead, Marcus. Every single person who came to the meeting. 23 people. Oh God, I can't. He broke into sobs again, and I heard someone in the background telling him to sit down, that he needed oxygen. "What do you mean dead? That's impossible. How can 23 people just die?" My legs gave out, and I sank onto my couch. The phone pressed so hard against my ear it hurt. Derek took several shaky breaths before continuing. I was late. My Tesla had a software update that wouldn't let me drive until it finished. I was so pissed, thought I'd missed the equity announcement. But when I got here at 9:30, the parking lot was full, but the office was silent. I walked in and Jake was at his desk, but something was wrong. He was just sitting there, eyes open, but completely white, foam around his mouth. I could hear Derek moving, probably pacing like he did when he was stressed. I ran to the conference room where the meeting was. They were all there, Marcus. All of them seated around the table like they'd fallen asleep during the presentation. But their eyes were all white, and their skin had this blue tint. The facilities manager says it was carbon monoxide. The new heating system we installed last week, the one that was supposed to be more efficient, the contractor installed a valve backward. Instead of venting exhaust outside, it was pumping it directly into our ventilation system. My mind couldn't process what he was saying. Carbon monoxide, the silent killer. No smell, no color, no warning. Except there had been a warning. That sweet, metallic smell Luna and I had detected wasn't the gas itself, but probably some other chemical reaction or malfunction indicator. Luna had smelled death coming and refused to let me walk into it. The system kicked on at 7:45. Derek continued, his voice hollow now. Right before the meeting, the conference room is the most sealed space in the office, designed for soundproofing. It became a gas chamber. They probably felt sleepy at first, maybe some headaches, By the time anyone realized something was wrong, they couldn't move. The paramedics said they were all dead within 20 minutes. Derek, where's Sophia? You haven't mentioned Sophia. The silence on the other end lasted so long I thought the call had dropped. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely a whisper. Marcus, she wasn't in the conference room. She was at your desk. My heart stopped. What do you mean she was at my desk? Derek cleared his throat, and I could hear papers rustling. The security footage shows her leaving the conference room at 8:10, right after the meeting started. She went to your desk with your laptop. She was trying to log you into the meeting remotely, make it look like you were there. She knew your passwords, had your computer. She was trying to save your job even though you didn't show up. The room spun around me. Sophia had died in my chair, at my desk, trying to protect me from the consequences of not showing up. She'd left a room full of people to maintain my lie, and that choice had placed her in a different part of the office, where the concentration of gas was just as lethal, but where she died alone, probably confused and scared, still trying to type on my keyboard as her vision went white. The paramedics found her slumped over your desk, Derek said. Your laptop was still open to the video conference link. She'd managed to log in as you. Your camera was on. If anyone had been alive in that conference room to see the screen, they would have seen her dying in your place. I dropped the phone. I could hear Derek still talking, saying something about investigators and lawyers and insurance, but all I could think about was Sophia's last words to me. I'm done being your safety net. She'd been angry, hurt, disappointed. She'd driven away thinking I was a coward who chose a dog over family. And then she'd still tried to save me. Even furious, even feeling betrayed, she'd still been my protective little sister. Luna nudged the phone toward me with her nose, and I picked it up with numb fingers. Derek was saying they needed me to identify her body, that our parents were being notified, that the office would be closed indefinitely. But all I could focus on was Luna, sitting quietly beside me, the dog who had saved my life and cost me everything else in the process. 2 months later, I stood at Sophia's grave with Luna beside me, placing fresh sunflowers on the black granite stone. Sunflowers had been her favorite, which seemed wrong somehow. Someone that practical shouldn't have loved something so bright and optimistic, but she did. She'd kept one in a vase on her desk, replacing it every week without fail. The investigators' report had been released that morning, confirming what we already knew. The heating contractor had installed a critical valve backward during rushed work to meet our office's launch deadline. No carbon monoxide detectors had been installed in the conference room because the building was old and grandfathered in under previous safety codes. 23 people died because of a combination of negligence, outdated regulations, and terrible timing. Luna sat perfectly still beside me, her head resting against the gravestone, like she did every time we visited. She'd whine softly, just once, then fall silent. The grief counselor said dogs understand death in their own way, and I believed it. Luna had saved me, but she couldn't save everyone. The weight of that knowledge seemed to sit on her shoulders just as heavily as it sat on mine. The lawsuit settlements had made me wealthy in the worst possible way. Money from my sister's death, from my co-workers' deaths, from a tragedy that should never have happened. I tried to refuse it at first, but my parents convinced me to take it and do something meaningful with it. That's how the Sofia Rivera Foundation was born. We provided free carbon monoxide detectors and air quality monitoring systems to startups and small businesses that couldn't afford proper safety equipment. In just 8 weeks, we'd already installed systems in 47 offices across Colorado. 3 of them had existing gas leaks that nobody knew about. Luna came with me to every installation, and I'd started training her officially as a detection dog. Turns out German Shepherds have incredible noses, capable of detecting chemical changes that humans would never notice. She'd already alerted to 2 other potential dangers beyond gas leaks, including an electrical fire hazard that could have killed dozens. The hardest part was finding the letter Sophia had left in her desk. The investigators gave it to me along with her other personal effects. It was dated a week before she died, still in an unsealed envelope addressed to me. Mark, It read, "I'm writing this because I'm too angry to say it to your face right now. You missed Dad's birthday dinner again." Mom cried, "But here's the thing. I'll always cover for you, because that's what family does. You're brilliant but scared of your own shadow sometimes. Stop letting fear control you. Trust your instincts more. And for God's sake, trust Luna. That dog knows you better than you know yourself. She'd die for you. Make sure you live a life worthy of that devotion. Love, your annoying little sister who will always be your safety net, even when you don't deserve it. P.S. I'm making you the beneficiary of my life insurance. Don't argue. If something happens to me, use it to help people. That's an order." She'd known. Not about the carbon monoxide specifically, but she'd known life was fragile and unpredictable. She'd prepared for the worst while always hoping for the best. That was Sophia, practical even in her love. I folded the letter carefully and placed it back in my wallet where I kept it always. Luna stood up, shaking off the cemetery dirt, and looked at me expectantly. We had 3 more installations scheduled that afternoon: a pediatric clinic, a family restaurant, and a dog grooming salon. Small businesses that could never afford proper safety systems on their own. Before we left, I knelt down and pressed my hand against Sophia's headstone. "We saved 17 people last week," I whispered. "A leak at a daycare center. Luna caught it during a routine check. 17 kids who went home to their families because she was there. Because you made sure I listened to her. I'm trying to make it count, Soph. All of it." Luna barked once, sharp and clear in the quiet cemetery. It wasn't a warning bark this time. It sounded almost like agreement, like she was telling Sophia we were doing our best. As we walked back to my car, I thought about all the people who told me everything happens for a reason. They were wrong. There was no reason good enough for 23 people to die at their desks. But maybe, just maybe, we could create meaning from meaningless loss. Luna jumped into the passenger seat, the same spot Sophia used to occupy on our morning commutes. Different companion, same mission to protect others. My phone buzzed with a text from a local news station wanting to do a follow-up story on the foundation. I declined. Sophia wouldn't have wanted the attention. She'd just want the work done. If you found this story meaningful, please subscribe to hear more real experiences that might just save a life. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from, because carbon monoxide poisoning kills people everywhere, not just in Colorado. Stay safe, and always trust your pets when they're trying to tell you something.